were you able to add more things to the Bruch?
Yes.
Do you feel that being expressive is not such an abstract thing anymore?
Not really. I just have to think about it still, but it's like not as.
Oh, you will always think about it. It's that's something that you want to develop in your approach to playing. It's not that something we're doing here in this room and it never happens again. I hope that this becomes a way of thinking. So every time you hold the violin, questions like how long is the phrase, where is the peak, what is the punctuation, how do I make this special note more expressive, and why is that note so special, and why does this move me in a particular way, and what exactly is the way it moves me. This kind of things, yeah, they're part of it. So what would you like to play today?
Like, we didn't really get to the last 2 pages
Right.
of the book, so I was thinking maybe we could do that.
Yes.
And I could.
Gavotte? Do we have Gavotte?
Yes, I can play.
Okay. So let's finish the Bruch. And while we let's start from the part where we finished. It's the bottom of the second page, right? Let's work a little bit on this phrase. So now the fingering with the harmonic at the top on the G string, does that bother you?
Not really.
Now, thinking back on what we started the lesson with, this idea of always knowing what the peak of the phrase is, where is the peak of that phrase?
Probably.
Yes, and harmonics by definition are not half as expressive as notes, solid notes that we play. So now this particular fingering is just to avoid the wolves in this area of the violin. It's kind of like a Hail Mary to somehow play through the pitches, all of them on the G string. So with this in mind, could you possibly deliver a much more convincing musical statement of this phrase? Now, also, how exactly are you getting to that high note? What precedes the high note? What kind of structure do you have leading to it?
Like a scale.
Okay, so should all the notes of the scale sound the same? Should they be without vibrato? It's kind of a no-brainer how to do this one, right? Because if we have a rising line, we need the intensity to increase as you go toward the top note. So occasionally there are pieces where you have a lot of repeated notes, like look here. This is the last movement of the Beethoven 10th Sonata. Vesco is working on this. And for example, here in this melodic staff, you've got all of these syncopated G's, and they're not exactly accompanimental, they're actually melodic. So if you play them just technically you can notate them exactly the same way on the page, but when you play the music it's completely different. And with repeated notes like this, like in the Sibelius Second Symphony, the second movement has a bunch of repeated notes on for the oboe solo, and for the oboists that shows up on auditions very often because the way you shape every single one of them has to be different from what you've done in the previous one. And the better you are at doing this, the better player you are. Maybe I should let them play in the other room. It's better. So I actually want you to go home and listen to the Sibelius Second Symphony, second movement, so you can hear what I'm talking about without repeating. And so if you have a bunch of those in a row, you have to make them grow. Now, with the notes that are in a scale, it's a similar thing, except that you have to change the pitches moving through this. So there has to be continuity. I think you get the point. Can you do something about it? Okay, so now do you understand what the problem with the harmonic is?
It gets quieter.
Yeah. Now, could you possibly not play it as a harmonic? Can you play maybe fourth finger? You've got such an amazing, strong fourth finger. Use the fourth finger and see if you can do that. So, and then come back to fourth position with the third finger on the F. So. If you can't reach it with the fourth finger, maybe you can do some substitution. Two, four will be much easier. Yes. Could you possibly hold much longer that top note? So save your bow. You want to sound like the top of the phrase. That the fingers are going a little too curved there for the size of your hand. You might need to approach more from here. And now, do you feel how the action is directly down? Just this way. So not curving it this way. So pass it directly where it matters into the string, and then same thing with the pinky. That's going to be way too high right now, but this is the feel that you need to get for that. Now, which of the two hands actually makes the sound? So you need to provide from the right hand better bow division, or I should say bow distribution. Ooh. That's why we've been having a hard time controlling the bow. Do you have a nail clipper or do you need one?
Oh, I don't.
Would you like to clip it? You actually, I should say you need to clip it. I should not give you an option for that because you need the full.
Oh, that.
That, yes.
I can like.
I can give you a nail clipper if you'd rather. Would you prefer to bring it off? Well, I'll bring you a nail clipper.
It's like the last one I have on, and it's like
Yeah.
I've been trying to get it off. I've been like fiddling with it, trying to get it off. It's really thick.
Okay, this one should help. Involved in the kitchen. Are you okay?
Yeah, it should work for now. But like, I have acetone at my house that I can use. It's like.
Well, I have acetone too, and we can do it maybe at the end of your lesson. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, where is your pen? Can we change the fingering here? Okay. So, what we need to do? Can we get rid of all of this heavy stuff, please? Oh, that's lovely. Okay. So, what we're going to do is, can we erase this somehow, or that's not an option? So let's white it out. Let's white that tree out.
Oh. It's just it's like it was on the original music.
Okay. All right, and let's get rid of this also. Oopsie. Can we just that? Okay. We're much more precise and we can get rid of this as well.
Okay.
Because what we're going to do is we will do the second finger.
Ooh, that's really bad too.
So let's do a better job on that.
I need to like.
And can we back up for this one because it's also kind of messy. The one that I put there. Okay, so that's as good as it gets. We need one more erasing moment here. Is that the whiteout?
Yeah, we can like.
Okay, so just very gingerly. Oops. That's like an art class. Gosh. All right.
You can just
clean it up. That's lovely. It will be so clean.
And now
we can write. Yes. So put a pretty two over that B flat. Oops. Ooh. I'm obviously completely inept. So that would be what you're doing. And this would be then your fourth finger here. Yes. We don't need to write it there.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's do another whiteout because we're going to clean up this page so much better.
I can just.
Yes. Lovely.
It's just I sometimes record it and then I have to like listen to it.
Well, that's a good thing. And now, we will do another thing that will clean up just the box things. So let's get this thing. It's much better, don't you think? And now this little also, just a little, oops, can we back up?
We can like.
Oh, make it much bigger, yes. Great.
I don't know if I can like not get the.
Can we, yeah, if it's bigger, you can do this. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I like that feature because making playing from messy music.
Want me to erase that?
No, you need that.
Oh, sorry. I thought
Yes,
it was
that's a real one, yes. But here between those two, you can erase these.
Oh, yeah.
That looks so much better. Okay. And in this case, you can even get rid of the
There.
yes, but this will be on that bow here. So that's something you want to remember. Okay, so let's try it.
Oh, it looks way better. Okay.
Okay, and then da da da. So saving our bow for the high note. Yeah, so now because of this, everything is moving kind of sideways. So whatever you're doing, even though this is kind of wolf tone now, can we just play that D with yes, in the upper half of the bow, sustained with a straight bow. Okay, now your bow is now straight. So, in other words, now push the scroll that way for this note. Yes. And now, you were at the master class at João Paulo's lesson, right? Do you remember what she was talking to him about the high rips on the G string? There was something about the knees and doing this, which actually comes down not to necessarily doing this, it comes to raising the scroll. So, just so raise the scroll and make sure that your bow remains absolutely perpendicular to the string. Mm-hmm. And now that you have the strength on that note, let's see if we can get it in legato from the B flat. So, oops, that wasn't very good. So you want to get it. So for me, there's this golden place on the bow right below the middle. So when I have two notes of equal value and I want the top one to sound not feel choked, I make sure that the bow is around here when I move from note to note. In other words, I go with slightly slower bow speed on the first note. And then I let the bow really sing through the top note. Da, da, ya. Here you actually have this 3-note figure that you have to sustain. Can you do it? Yeah, it's just a specialized position for those 3 notes. So if I have to do it like this, it's very hard. Just it's much easier here. With the first finger on the F. You change that, I changed that for you.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's much closer shift. Yeah, and you know, with skills like this, you could play Zigan or Zigeunerweisen. You know, things that have very extended, famous passages up on the G string. That's where you start developing. Now, can you do the entire G string melody? That's better. Now, maybe not necessarily what I was envisioning for this phrase, but it was much more satisfactory to hear than what it was before. So in your practicing, you just keep getting better at it. It's not like you've reached the best possible level for doing it. You need to keep searching. You need to become better at distributing your bow for that. And this really has to be one beautiful gesture. Do you want to try one more time? And maybe with the fingerings we decided now to go, yeah.
It was a, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Legato, Ella, there are no dots, anything that indicates lifting the bow, so keep legato. You know, I hear your brain stopping. You know what I mean? It's like you stop thinking where you're going, you just go on autopilot and you're not aware of what you're doing. You have to keep directing what you do until you're finished with that phase. I'm actually astonished how strong you arrived on that phrase, and then that you're actually able to continue within that strength. How about you start less with the crescendo? I mean, the crescendo needs to start at a lower point and not be so enormous so quickly. So you actually have room to do the peak better. Much easier. So better pacing. Want to try one more time, or you're good?
I think I'm good.
Okay, let's go on then. Now here's the angelic installment of that same music. We have the same thing. When you start the rising line, you need to start from a lower dynamic level. Now, this part you can sing. So now. We now here. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just play the note. Hopefully it will speak. If you do it with purpose, what the purpose could be? Crescendo or diminuendo? Crescendoing into it and diminuendoing that note. You don't need to go da-ra, like that. Da-ya. So it needs to be more vocal. The F itself, even though it's beautified with the ornament, I want to hear much greater expression on the F itself from you. Especially because it's such an ugly note on the violin. You know, this is the ugliest note on the violin. E string low next to the note. So it needs extra TLC for this to there we go. So light finger and a lot of vibrato on that note.
What is TLC?
Tender, loving care. Yes. I don't use many. What are those called? No, it's not really an abbreviation because it's with the initials of the words. Acronyms, I guess. Yeah, I hardly any, but this is one of them that I love. TLC. Yes. Yes, and now see also if you can do it without an accent, but so there's this unit of the TLC on the F and the ornament blending into one. That was absolutely lovely, Ella. Can you put it in the context of the phrase? That's a good question. And now, do you want to be military or lyrical? Or maybe somewhere in the middle of that, because the first one wasn't quite right. So not too short and not too fast a bow on the little note. Because you have to give yourself time to sing vocal. We lost the connection between the notes. Yes, so last note, taper or flare? Flare is the opposite of taper. It's like where things flare out like this. Tapering, right. And the tapering is also in the context of the entire phrase, right? So if the last note always has to kind of deflate, should it be with more intense vibrato than what directly precedes it? Because you went, sorry. So you hear the discrepancy in that. So with your coloring, you have to match things. So what are you going to do? So no, you need to vibrate the notes before, because the notes before were without any vibrato, and they were already fairly light with the bow. And then when you do this, you cannot possibly taper on that. So, and whatever you do on the C, whatever the vibrato is, whatever you do with the bow, then on the next note, you have to be slightly less of both of those things. Okay. first finger. Hardly any vibrato. Right, with hardly any vibrato on that note. And this way the phrase just, it blooms and then it rounds. Right. Now, do you think this is a principal situation or it applies only to this place? It is a principle, so remember it. It's a very simple, it's intuitive thing, because in music everything moves in curves. And when the curve increases, you have to increase the intensity, and that happens through more pressure closer to the bridge for the bow, maybe more accented playing or something. Just you have to feel more resistance through the bow, and with the left hand you need to match that. How?
By like
the intensity of the vibrato.
Yeah.
That's and how do we change the intensity? What are the two aspects of vibrato that we mess with?
wide or fast.
Right. So it's either amplitude or speed. I'm using the fancy terms for those because you start using them as well. Amplitude is the width of the vibrato. So now speed is probably the first thing that you will affect. So what is more intense?
Fast.
Right. And now in terms of the amplitude intensity,
It's more like
the wider is the more intense. Yeah. So now, have you practiced different combinations of the two things of the vibrato? Have you done slow and narrow, fast and narrow, slow and wide, fast and wide? Can you try those things? The narrow can be even narrower. So now, when we say narrow, we don't mean it's just one type of narrow, because it's a whole range, all the way from being that narrow to that wide here. So anything that it's in the range of the middle to here, that would be in the narrow range. So can you make it super narrow? Wait, it's just and let's start with narrow and slow. So super. Can you make it slower? Yes. And keep the bow moving. It doesn't have to be so good. And now make it with same amplitude but much faster. Fantastic. Fantastic. And now let's go with the extreme wide opposite. So really slow and as wide as you can stand it. Yeah, that's very vibrato, right? And now let's make it really fast and wide on that. Yes. Yes, and I mean, all of these 4 types of vibrato that you just played, they're legitimate. And do you think we can have the entire spectrum in between, like the color wheel on? Yeah, that's what's going to give you all the colors that you need. Now, with this in mind, can we try the ending of that phrase and see how, so. Can we do from there? Focus on how you're using your vibrato. Wow. How did you like that?
It was okay. There was like one note that was really bad.
Now you understand what you can do with the phrase. Now, do you see how with the usage of the vibrato you can also manipulate the rising scale? Why don't we do all of that one more time? So from the section where we started earlier. On the G string as well, because that all of these things they apply to all of that.
I messed up on the part.
Yeah. So now the bow is going to help the vibrato. When you start focusing on vibrato, don't forget that the sound is actually produced from the bow. So the bow has to keep spinning things. The vibrato is only helping that expression. That was really, really good. The one thing that I would have done differently is here on the nose picking area of the fingerboard with the fourth finger. Wider vibrato. Do you think you can manage wider vibrato on that note? Do you want to experiment? Do you want to try if you can do narrow and wide on that D? 2/4? It's 2/4. So it's a question of getting wide. Yes, it down because the string is only that long there. Doing a wide vibrato is not a huge issue because it's not much of a motion that you need. So you just have to make sure that the pinky is able to rotate. And you know, if you put it at an angle more like this there. So again, with the idea that the pushing is directly down into the string, not sideways. Don't dilute the force. It needs to go straight down here on the string and find the most efficient way to just push down on the string there. And now the more meat you have on that, the easier it's going to be. And even if you're like this, if you just kind of like a little barrel, you roll your finger. You know, the cats like to do that. Actually, they stretch and they roll back and forth with the length of their bodies. So it's a little bit like that, extending your finger and rolling it on its belly. So you can come even down with this. Don't worry about touching the other strings. You just want to have a lot of area and roll the finger. And this might be a note on which you want to develop specialized vibrato, so you need to practice it by itself. Okay, so you're done with the spot for now. You will have to collect your brain when you practice at home.
Yeah.
Now, can we go to the next part? And now, before you play the next phrase, I want you to think what you want to do with it in terms of vibrato coloring, in terms of continuation of the bow. You don't have to tell me. Just think about it and then play it. Rhythm, careful with the Ella. Each and every time I will stop it. Da 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 da. In this case, the note is broad. Okay, I love the slide that you did into the but everything else to me, Ella, sorry to say, sounds like you're reading this and you're just punching notes on the keyboard without really thinking how they relate to one another. Can you do some mental gymnastics and figure out how to connect them? Let's stop here for a second. We have again a group of repeated B flats, repeated notes. And yes, you understand that they have to grow, but you're starting them too loud and too intense. So again, look at the contour of the line. You see that it goes upwards with this. Here we have a appoggiatura, more, less. Do you hear that? The second note is a resolution of the first one. So with the vibrato and with your bow language, you need to show that. Then we keep. So when you do this big descent, this is the part where you will reset in order to be able to do those increasing B flats. So my broken English, do you understand what I'm asking you to do? Okay, great. Now, can we just try right here? I know the bowing is very difficult. Didn't we change that for you, starting it on an up bow? I seem to remember that this was what we did with you last year. So you could take an extra bow right here. I remember that you changed that. So the phrase is everything else is going to be backwards, which is the yes. Now let's write the bones that we're going to do.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Do you have your pen?
It's
Okay. And then we will take two bows here, so it will be up, down. Or this will be up and then down. So I'll draw the slur here. This is up. This is down. So everything will work out that way. You're doing it backwards, Ella. I'm sorry. You're doing da da da. It's appoggiatura, up bow, down bow. The bows are backwards. Up bow, then a little bit less on this one. So can you? So the up bow would be if we have to put numeric values to that. I would say 10% louder than the down bow, and 10% more intense on the appoggiatura. This is the appoggiatura, and then this needs to sound like a resolution after it. And now bring the line up. Yeah, but this really sounds musically very, very lacking. Now, can you, didn't we also give you an extra third finger here? So, can I write something, do I just, oh, okay, so that's the, can we, right. So, here, and that will give you much better vibrato at the top there. So now, do you hear that? That's what you're doing, which is losing intensity on the high note. So sustain and sing through both of them. Could we try it right on? Ella, you're not leaving yourself enough bow for the B flat. Yes. Between. Do you hear how different, and do you sense how different it is with this time? Great, great. So now, still. So, what is your plan for the vibrato on this note? Why narrow? But isn't that the highest note of the phrase? Isn't that the climax?
Yeah.
So, what was the intense combo? Yes, that's what you need on that note. So, and you need and then you diminuendo down into the vowels. So, yeah, and not immediate crescendo and immediate intensity. Now less here and this stuff, less vibrato, more vibrato. And then we go to changing the finger once we get out of options for what to do with the vibrato. Whoa. Save. Yeah, and that slide, there's no pitch to it. It's Ella, the slide down doesn't sound good. I'm sorry. So it's just you did it so well when it comes around an octave lower at the end of this phrase. Can you put it in this context? So you have to caress the string. You have to. More vibrato, change the finger. Oh, and don't disappear so much here. Because this is one whole gesture, right? Don't go. Because then what do? We change the color on the other string, but it won't be effective if we're already so soft. So save your bow. Yeah, now different color on the new gesture. Listen. Like an echo. Strong. Can you do this really sensitive? Yes, and now in terms of vibrato, this note, do you want it to be with less vibrato, more vibrato than the one that follows? And it's on the fourth finger, which is the one which we have to work more anyway, so double the work on it. Sounds like you've given up. But you have no idea what you want to do here. So let's decide what you're going to do, because the option of giving up, it doesn't exist. So what are you going to do here? Just look at the phrase. What's the shape of it? Yes, it's again an arch. Do you hear the appoggiatura in it? So where is the appoggiatura? Can you sing it? So the appoggiatura is that's the thing. So that's what you have to make sure that happens with the bow, right? Now the notes before it, they're like a pickup leading into that appoggiatura. Can you make a musical decision how to produce a pickup that leads to something? It needs to crescendo into it, right? That's why it's a pickup. That's how it leads into it. So this is the crucial thing, and it's also gussied up pickup. You know that expression, gussy up something? Nice. Yeah, it's jazzed up. So with those repeated notes. It's actually a very cool moment there to work out.
I have like a lot of.
So the ones that are not current anymore, you erase. Okay, so for the appoggiatura, what is your vibrato plan? Wide and fast on the expressive note, and narrow, and maybe still fast, but definitely narrower on the note of resolution. Yeah, what about the this high note? It also needs to vibrate, otherwise it's just we've lost the plot. Vibrate your third finger, dear, please. Yes, and then more vibrato on the second finger. Those kind of more velvety sounds, right? That's why we're on the D string and not that's why we're not going into that screaming register, right? It's a much more expressive. And here on this one, are you staying with the second finger or subbing?
I'm subbing it
to one. Why don't you write that in? And let's make it. Oh, sorry, I stepped on the pedal by mistake. So let's make it a little bit bigger. Now, what are all these things that are written there? I have no idea. So can we erase? And
I'm
so
gonna erase 3 because I already know.
Okay. Well, you know that you're in the D string. Well, no, don't erase the 3 because you don't know that because you can as easily play this on the A string as well. So we need to stay on the D string. Yes, but yes, you will substitute that with yes. Therefore, you're in octave position here without any extensions, right? So. So the one really difficult thing is this one. Can I see you do it well? Yeah, and any chance you can put your pinky in such a way that it doesn't collapse. So it's not so much a question of making it come down like a nail, as if you're driving a nail into the fingerboard. It's a question of bringing the bass joint a little bit in. Have I shown you the pulling in exercises in high positions for the pinky? I think it might have. They're from the warming up book in Simon Fisher. That's when you do an extension with the pinky and you go pull in. So let's just pull in and then you relax the finger and again pull in. So it's all a question of strengthening this joint and just getting the finger to be much stronger when it comes down to the string extended like this. It's very easy to develop. I have terribly weak pinky. And in the low positions, no matter how I work on it, it keeps collapsing, but in the high positions, it doesn't. It used to collapse like yours, but these exercises, when you extend and now pull in, right, and pull in with a fairly good amount of strength from the hand. Yes, and relax, and again pull in, yes, and as you pull in, you also push into the string, and again you relax, pull in, yes, and when you pull in, don't let the finger get so square from here. So pull in, but allow this. So it needs to have this kind of strength. And again, when you push down into the string, don't do it sideways or something. Imagine the exact place where you want the weight and the energy directed into this. So it goes here. And yes. And you might be a little bit more on the finger pad. Just you feel the gradient of the fingerboard. You know what I'm talking about? Gradient. So see, it's not flat, right? It has a gradient. It curves. So you have to feel that curvature and place your fingertip in a way that feels nice to the fingertip to be touching that curvature. Yes. Try to do it without collapsing here. Yes. So pull in, but what will help also just think is from this the extended. So pull in, relax, pull in, relax, pull in, relax. I want you to do this warming up exercise every day. Okay.
So make sure my finger doesn't go like that.
Right. You just one. You just start somewhere on the fingerboard and then just do an extension backwards here, just to open up this space here, and then you pull in and relax. You pull in and relax. Pull in and relax. Yeah, but keep the extension. Yeah, the open hand there. And when you pull in, the important thing is not that the finger is heavy. The important thing is that it curves, so you can strengthen and develop it. Yes, doing that. Yes. Here. So pull in, relax, pull in, relax, pull in. All right. So let's go back to the. Lovely. Yeah, and just be brave for this. Now these are what is coming up is like the high leaps in the Saint-Saëns violin concerto. So that's strike a pose for that. Yes, yes. And you have a little bit of a wolf on the B flat, but trust the slide then. Yes. That's another leap moment.
It has accents on every single one.
It has an accent, but do you see that it also doesn't have a dot? So you tell me, how do you interpret this articulation? Long lift. Can we erase this particular thing that appears here, because there's obviously not a lift if. Oh, we have to write it out in really big. Now, for this one, it's okay. This one is good, but okay. Good. But the next one definitely we need to remove. So cool that you can do that.
I can barely do it.
Well, oops. It just has to be smaller, so it gets really nice.
It was never there.
Okay, that's better. So, good question. We don't stop the bow on this, but now you were at Jusinir's lesson in that master class. Do you remember when she questioned how he was doing his trills, reading into the orchestral tutti? When she stood up next to him and started playing the orchestral tutti after he was playing the drills. Now you have a similar situation here. These trills, they're not just we're filling up time with them. They have to take you into this absolutely glorious climax that comes. You can do something about that. Just back up maybe a measure so you have a context. Still not enough. So you really want to kind of soar over the orchestra on them. So I need context. So we arrive into one of them. Can I hear you just arriving into this one, the one in the lower octave? Yes, with lots of authority. And then it's not enough for us to stay in that lower octave anymore. So it's almost like, you know what the triangle is in the orchestra? The little triangle that they beat.
Oh,
yeah. Have you seen? Have you? Do you know what sound it makes when they make tremolo on it? It bathes the entire orchestra in this very high pitched kind of sparkly sound. Yeah, it's incredible. And so to me, this kind of register transfer on the trill is like playing the triangle.
Okay.
So now here, it really has to be very big and very glorious on this. Very glorious, yeah. But because you don't believe it, your face is just okay. I'm just going to be doing this because I'm told to. Can you do it with conviction? Sell it. So it has to be a very horizontal movement, and in this one, if you actually allow a little bit of this, it will help, because we don't want accents on the bow changer. And the bow changes don't have to happen on the beats. And is the da is that on the new bow?
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, then do it also with conviction, because right now it sounds like a mistake. It sounds like bad bowing. And do you know what the difference between good bowings and bad bowings is? There is none. There is good musicians and bad musicians, because a good musician would make bad bowing sound good. A bad musician would make the good bowing sound good. So it's up to you to make it sound good. Okay. Ooh. Was that your elbow?
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry. The lift, right? So this, yes. And now, Ella, this is such an incredible moment, because you have to fit these very strong notes on so little bow. It's just one bow, and you're one against the entire orchestra. Well, I wouldn't say against the entire orchestra, because the orchestra is helping you in this. But again, it needs to come over the orchestra, and this is just one of those moments when, as a soloist, you assert your power. As a musician, as a player, and all that. So with the slow bow, with this very intense sound, with sustaining through all of it, that's what people go to concerts to hear. The A flat, if it's better in tune, that's a start. And then, do you know why you're losing power here on these?
Because I'm losing the.
You're losing something you're doing with the bow, but can you figure out what it is that you're doing? Play it one more time and see what you're doing, and I hope you will be able to tell me the answer, because I see it from here. You fixed it. You know what you fixed? Your sound point.
Oh.
So for a place like this, what sound point do you need to maintain?
Like
really close to the bridge, as close as the violin would allow you. It's different for different violins, not too different though. I can tell you that it's going to be really close to the bridge. So see how far you can push it on your instrument. Yes. And does the G also have an accent?
Yes.
Would you please do it?
Yes.
In context with all the notes? Okay, and now we go on more that soloist moment, because again you're in all your glory above the orchestra in that high register with the equilibristics and all that. So let's hear you. Oh, come on, yes, and again strike a pose. This is one of those moments, yes, when. And the timing wasn't right. Did you review this portion?
I tried. I just broke my hair. Yeah, I tried.
Okay. So let's try one more time.
I'm not very good at this part.
Well, it's a difficult part, and the difficult parts require more work and sometimes very clever solutions, so they don't feel so difficult. So let's see if we can find them. Pull it suddenly. Pull it. Yes. Okay. You can put it here on the table, and I'll take it away because of the cats, because I don't want them choking on it or something. Okay, so now have you figured out which of the notes you want to group together?
We don't really know.
I couldn't hear you. You have to repeat that.
What?
Which notes did you decide to group together?
Like the big round thing. The huge slide.
Okay. And inside that particular round, do you have groups?
Yes.
Show me. Which ones?
I sort of do 3 and then 4. 3 and 4.
That's correct. Now the problem is that you're also putting a break right before the high note. So you need to read into that.
Okay.
What is this?
It was saying learn, but that was from a long time.
What?
Learn, but that was from a long time.
Oh, okay. That's
I know.
what. Yeah, right. This must be a one.
I don't know if you like pork chops.
I love pork chops. You know, right now there's absolutely nothing to eat because I listened to Mexico yesterday, and
Well, there you go.
So this is perfect.
Well, if you don't like it, the kitties will love it.
Speaking of, yes, I better
Hi, Gavotte.
because
The nail smell.
they have become very clever at getting into things.
Yeah.
They're so soft, aren't they?
Okay, so you want me to look through music while you finish?
Sure, yes. So now
you
I brought a
recording?
bunch of anthologies and just things that contain very famous pieces. Or here in the Barber books, these are for younger violinists, but they're
Yeah, I know this guy. They have, this is probably
so they're folk songs and all this. But here these are really famous pieces, encore pieces, anthologies. And yesterday I also got something which probably this part of the world will look quite well. Not the 20th and 21st century anthology, but this collection here.
Oh,
Very
which
nice
is
little arrangements. Yeah.
You need to stop scratching on your couch.
So I would start with these here and
The Barbers.
with the anthologies as well. Just look through those and we can talk about them. So Ella, yes, let's go to yes. Right now, let's include that principle of the dynamics in the line.
I can't see this.
Okay. We've got one thing to consider. So here, the dot is above the note, but don't put the note, place a stop after it. And the stop is here.
Okay.
So the stop is here, and then you connect. Not above. Put the connect in between. This starts from the string with a catch. We have to know this arpeggio coming down. We will talk about it in a moment. Now, vibrato usage. What happens on the high notes? So the two aspects. Yes, so it's wide and fast on all of them. Especially here on the zero. So you just have to know that arpeggio coming down is the same arpeggio. What arpeggio is it? C. It's a major arpeggio, not big deal, right? So one more time. Dum, dum, because I want to hear wide and fast vibrato.
Wait, so is the strongest one wide and fast, and then it's narrow and fast?
Now, we don't really have weak ones in this, because all of this is climactic. So the vibrato has to be heavy duty on all of them.
So it's like, I'm just asking, like in general, is the most intense the wide and fast, and then the most non-intense is the slow
Narrow and slow, yes.
So the second intense is the fast and narrow, right? Versus the
Fast and narrow would be the next intense thing. Yeah.
okay. So
Yes.
I thought it was the fast and narrow that was the strongest.
No, wide and fast is the strongest. Better. Now, can the runs be a little bit quicker?
Yes.
And ta-da, ta-da. That part needs to be a little bit better.
No. I asked about fingers like that because I don't know. I was gonna ask about fingers and that's about
Didn't we talk about that in the other one? It was the other one, yes. So, what are these little lines here? What do they indicate?
I don't know.
Can we get rid of them because they're very confusing?
They're not. Oh, it's because I was trying to section out the dot.
Oh. They're just so A flat, right?
Okay.
And then 1 leaves. Just 1 1. That's what you got. So can we start the the expression marks on your. So you will do that with vibrato. Yes, and be ready for his. So that would be yes.
I always practiced it.
Okay, just do it that way then, if that's what you can do. Yeah, but you have to camouflage it better. So if you do that fingering, camouflage. Now, Ella, that will be a better fingering if you're going for that. Yes. Are you finding anything you like in there?
You know what's really nice about this collection?
What?
There's one composer missing that I'm really glad about.
Which one?
Bartok is not here.
Oh,
Thank God.
he's in the sixth. He's in the sixth book with the Romanian folk dances. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like
Yes.
this book.
Okay, so I like all of them actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. These don't have the same like indication, so do I still play them as those, or do I play them differently?
Now you can show the line. Just that outline. You don't need to worry about vibrating the E string on this. So. Good. That's much better. Now, if you're bringing that intensity with vibrato on the A string, you have to match it with the bow.
Okay.
So let's review this. So your first finger is here for the. We have a line. This is what you see. It's hard to see. And then this 4/4.
Okay. I was just trying to shift on the C.
Okay. We are running a little bit out of the box. Can we restore something? So, where's the eraser?
Oh.
Let's keep writing now.
Oh, that whole thing.
So, you get it?
Yeah.
Almost. Good.
Good. Oh.
We'll give him the line. Yes.
Oh, yeah. And I can like make it like even more fine or whatever.
This should be.
Yeah, it should be work. Oh,
So Ella, from the bowings that they gave you there, what do you think is the climax? It's the two notes. Right. So no, it's not just da 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 da. It's da da da, and then it goes on. So what do you need to do with your vibrato in those 4/4?
be very wide and very fast.
So
and match it.
yes, yes. So for this, you have to save your bow because you've got how many notes on the above? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to distribute your bow well. Then on the second long up bow, do not hesitate so much. Because we've already taken a lot of time at the top of that, and that's when it just needs to tumble down. And then we have music that we've already talked about. Okay, you have a lot of practicing to do at home. It's, now that we've hooked up the
So gonna be like
vibrato
2 weeks or something?
Yeah, I hope so. Now, before we go though, can you play your gavotte? I want to hear in what shape and form it is. You have it memorized, right? Performance time. Yes.
I don't have a sunrise anymore with that.
So in the tutti section, it needs to be more marcato on those instead of with these slow bows. So can you take it from here? good. It's improved a lot since the last time I heard it. Better articulations. Because you're playing in Baroque music, remember that the bowings, they are articulations, they're not just bowings. So if you have 3 and 1, it needs to sound like 3 and 1 and instead of that. Overall, things are quite good. Some of the double stop sections still need better sound. I feel that the fingertips are not really stopping the string well. It's not so much a bow thing, it's just finding a better placement for the fingertips so they cover the gradient better. You know what I'm talking about, or you're just agreeing because you want to be done? Yeah, okay. So, but it's a lot improved. So it's at the point where we just have to fix the detail.
I was gonna ask, do you think it would be beneficial for me to do it with the metronome? Because I do it at like 10 different speeds.
Oh yes. Now, when you perform it, obviously it's not going to stay mechanically rhythmic, because playing rhythmic and playing with a metronome are two very different things. When you play rhythmic, you can still have elasticity in the measure, but you feel the subdivisions and there's pulse that goes with that. When you play mechanically with a metronome, you're just playing mechanically with a metronome. So when you practice with the metronome, you have to make sure that you subdivide. So when you turn the metronome off, you could still feel those underlying pulses, but you can manipulate the overall feel in the phrase. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. So next time I would like to hear, we'll start with the Bach, then we will work on the little portion, the last page of the book, those few lines that we didn't go to, and I also need to hear the entire Bruch movement, but with everything we have talked about done. Because we don't need to have the same lesson over and over, right? No Groundhog Day.